Temple. Good afternoon from Tallahassee.
Three-pointer by Jesse Morgan. And we'd like to welcome all of you who were watching another ball game earlier. We are just underway here. It's 3-2. This is Hamilton, the freshman out of Los Angeles, the backcourt running mate of Ryan Boatwright. Hamilton becoming more aggressive offensively as the season wears along. And Boatwright set up by Hamilton. He buries the three.
The top two assist getters on UConn's team. And they have encouraged Daniel Hamilton as that second leading assist guy to be a playmaker for the guys around him. He does so there.
Morgan. Offensive rebound. Brima with another block as McDonald tried to put it up again. And Brima's having none of it. The standings, SMU and Tulsa still tied for first. They'll decide that tomorrow. This game is important for UConn because they're still fighting for that 5th seed and a first-round bye in the conference tournament. They have to win today and hope that Memphis loses. It's amazing how regular seasons work out. Comes down to the last day. We still don't know where 4 of the top 5 are going to be, and there's a travel on Hamilton.
And the general thinking for Kevin Ollie's team, as you could see him all fired up, which is not atypical. The general thinking for this Connecticut team is, in fact, that they would have to win the American to have a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. We did contact Joe Lenardi earlier today. He said there is a slight chance, should Kevin Ollie's team get to the American Conference Final, a slight chance that perhaps they could work their way in. But as you know, Mike, there's 4 in, 4 out. So much is dictated by other teams.
And you really don't want to be relying on a slight chance either. Jesse Morgan hits the 3. Morgan averaging 11.6 points a game.
In 12 of their 20 games, he has gone for at least 3 or more threes. You've got to be a little bit tighter on Jesse Morgan with your hand up and contest and make him think about it. Make him feel you as a defender.
He's got a great stroke from the outside, as does Boatwright, who shoots almost 42% from long range. Hamilton had the baseline, got a bump and made the basket. Foul by McDonald.
I love this young man. What a talented young guy. 6'7", 190 pounds. Good, solid drive. That strength is going to come the older he gets, the more time he spends in the weight room. But in that instance, able to absorb the contact and play through.
McDonald gets a nice hand as he checks out, starting on senior day.
You like this young guy? You like what you see from him?
I love him, especially the second half of the season, Doris, because I think he's been so much more aggressive.
Yeah, and that's the one key. And I think so much of UConn's season has been about the guys around Ryan Boatwright. You know, they want to compare to Kemba Walker and Shabazz Napier. Those two guys had more experienced, better players at their disposal around them.
Well, Shabazz Napier had Boatwright.
Correct.
Cummings open for 3. They're getting some really good looks from the outside. Cummings can't knock that one down. Here comes Boatwright on the run. Drops it for Hamilton. Way off. Defender may have gotten a piece of that one. This is Jalen Bond. This is Cummings down the lane. And he's fouled. Timeout with 15:46 to go. 2-point lead for UConn.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy.
Joey Brackets, Joe Lenardi, and that I understand the metrics and the math and all the things that go into that. I cannot claim to know it. I agree with you. You know, it's mind-boggling that a team will play for a conference championship tomorrow. Obviously, 3 o'clock tomorrow will decide this conference's championship, SMU and Tulsa. How they could have teams below them, is it simply about strength of schedule? Is it the bad losses? You know, what weighs the most in terms of the decision-making of the committee?
Cummings knocks down another free throw, and we're tied at 8. Which the funny thing is, no matter if you let in 175 teams, number 176 would complain that they deserve to be in. So
right, and I asked, we wanted to know, and this is one of their most effective plays when you have Bryma and Hamilton working together.
Bryma couldn't handle it, coming for the run. Took it strong to the hole to give him the lead.
Yeah, and he, over the last 8 games, has been dynamic as a scorer. You've got to stop the ball earlier in transition if you're UConn. That was one of their defensive keys.
A lot of good guards in this league, particularly point guards.
And just to your point, just to finish on that Tulsa discussion, you know, I asked Joe Lunardi, we contacted him and said basically, you know, what ultimately is holding Tulsa back despite the fact that they will play for the conference title? And basically, it's not beating the best teams in the American. So they've lost to SMU. They've lost to Cincinnati. And that's their primary criticism. So tomorrow is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Offensive rebound to Devontae Watson. And he is fouled by Bryma. That is number 1 on the sophomore from Ghana, and the 3rd team foul. Doris, what do you see when you look at this comparison?
Well, this goes to the discussion, and one of the things I think you can see is Temple, one of those teams below them, 2 wins, both teams with 2 wins against the top 50 RPI. The RPI rank is one of the significant differences right now, marking the differences between the 2 teams. Obviously, the Kansas win for Temple and their resume is huge.
Off-balance fadeaway jumper for Morgan. What a tough shot. Morgan has 8.
Oh, my, how good is that? That's a pro-level shot right there. That's a guy on the move with a defender in his grill, and he still makes it. That is pretty.
Remember, he's playing on senior day. Senior from Philly. 6-0 run. Purvis looking for his shot. Can't find it. Bad pass. And to Cummings. And that's going to be a foul, and a silly foul on Hamilton. All he did was throw a shoulder in there. And that's going to draw the whistle every time. One on Hamilton.
How about that, Mike? Just a really good, well-executed, underneath, out of bounds, coming hard at the ball with the defender chasing him, and he makes a tough shot.
Morgan goes to the line trying to add to his total and misses the first free throw. He's an 82% free throw shooter. It's a young man who started his career at UMass and transferred. Excuse me, this is Cummings, not Morgan. I was thinking about that shot out of the corner.
And
Cummings a 77% free throw shooter.
You made a great point. You know, you had an open floor turnover, and it put you in bad balance defensive transition-wise. Don't compound the mistake.
Right. Terrence Samuel checks in for the first time for Kevin Ollie. Calhoun, number 21, also in the ballgame. Hamilton, fadeaway jump shot, wouldn't fall for him. Fight for the loose ball. Hamilton, no. Came up a little short. DeCozy, great pass. Hit Jalen Bond on the right side of the lane, and he finished it. They are pumped on senior day.
Well, a little look off. DeCozy looks to the right, fills the lane by Bond, and they are in control.
Connecticut fighting for that bye. They got one last shot at it if they can win today.
And one of the things I just noticed as they came back onto the floor, because it's been a little bit of a struggle for Daniel Hamilton, as we were waiting to come back to live action, every guy, here you go, Boatwright gets a jumper. Every guy, including their leader, Ryan Boatwright, got in the grill of Daniel Hamilton and tried to lift the freshman up, right? You can tell he's hanging his head a little bit, so that's great leadership by the guys in blue. Boatwright
buries the 3. He has 6. Cut the lead down to 15-11. DeCozy can be easily that good third scorer you can use. Cummings had that one partially blocked. Good defense by Boatwright, and the rebound to Facey. Boatwright, not your prototypical guard anymore at 6'4", but he plays at 6'4".
Well, his heart is bigger than his body, that's
sure
for sure.
Is. Good screen by Hamilton, partially blocked by Cummings, and a foul on Cummings. Crowd did not like that call. Neither did Cummings.
Well, he is just trying to go underneath the screen, and it's obvious that he hits his wrist there. And this one, he's still going underneath the screen, which is not atypical for Fran Dunphy. You know, this was a very sound Temple defensive team. He's a guy who's not going to hard hedge huge on their pick and rolls. He's going to plug gaps. Everybody's going to be where they need to be.
Doris, you were a guard. You got to fight. You've got to get over top of those.
Well, it depends on philosophically what your coach wants you to do. And the other part of that is it's a two-man job, right? It's not just the guard's job. There has to be communication between the big and the guard. If you're going to fight over the top of the screen, is that post player giving you the space necessary to get there? You know, what's the philosophy? Is the post supposed to hedge and recover? There's so many coverages on the pick and roll. I once heard, Mike, and I don't know this is true, and I don't know why I don't just ask him. I once heard that Jeff Van Gundy has 300 pages worth of material on how to guard the pick and roll.
Jeez. 6-0 UConn run. Temple by 1. Here's full court pressure.
Yep, little 2-2-1 is as much to keep him out of rhythm. That's going to be a backcourt violation.
Yep, Morgan just let it get off his dribbling hand and goes across the timeline. Tonight at 6:30, an ACC showdown, Virginia-Louisville. Easy for you to say. Then at 9, the greatest rivalry in college basketball. Duke against North Carolina. Virginia-Louisville, 6:30. Duke, North Carolina, 9 tonight on ESPN. Your home court of college hoops.
Well, two terrific ACC games. Obviously, the big story, Justin Anderson off that appendectomy is still not available for Virginia.
What a shame.
Oh, terrible. But
Jeez.
you and I called a couple of those North Carolina-Duke games. Those are an absolute blast. 88 games, 44 apiece.
Left hand boat right. Great job.
This is a team that we wondered how they'd comport themselves today. They had an abysmal offensive performance against Memphis. They looked good.
They only shot 28% against Memphis. Here's a follow shot by Morgan. Comes up short. Hamilton on the run. This is Samuel to Facey. Facey inside to Calhoun.
All the momentum in UConn right now. And the more easy opportunities you can get coming off that 28%, the better you start to feel about your offense.
In a game of runs so far, currently UConn on a 10-0 run to regain the lead. And here's Calhoun with a hold. That'll be 1 on him.
Well, Ryan Boatwright has got the heart of a lion. Steps behind his big man and drains a 3. They were down at that point. Then lifts the defender with a little ball fake. Gets to the left-hand side. Uses that left. Now they're up 3. Out by projections. And again, the loss against Houston. It's amazing you can look so good against SMU.
Yes.
Completely handled Tulsa. Win against Cincinnati. And then just can't find the broadside of the barn against Memphis at home on senior day.
Yep. Just lay an egg. Josh Brown, number 1, in for the first time for the Owls with Fran Dunphy. Down the lane to Cozy. No, but a foul.
And thinking about the other part of that equation, if you win the game against Yale and you win the game against Texas, both home losses, last-second shots, you're now at 19-10 and feeling drastically different about your season.
To me, Doris, it used to be you had to win 20 games to get in the tournament, period.
Yep.
Then it became so easy to win 20 games relative to the way it used to be that 20 didn't mean much anymore. Now I think it means something again, and they're at 17 wins, so they got work to do.
Well, think about a year ago in the American you don't fundamentally sound box out, and you almost give up a second chance point.
Almost.
Yeah. SMU becomes the highest RPI team a year ago. I believe it was 56, and they don't make the NCAA tournament, but they hurt themselves down the stretch with consecutive losses to end the season.
Yes. Hamilton off target, fight for the rebound. There's Boatwright, pull up 12-footer. Boy, he's good.
Yeah, Mike, there's not an aspect of the game where he can't score, right? He's shown us his long range. He had the drive to the hoop, and that's the in-between game. So as a defender, you don't know which way he's going. He keeps you off balance.
You could make the argument that a 12-foot jump shot has become the toughest shot in basketball.
Yeah, agreed.
And nobody makes them anymore.
They don't value them the way they used to.
I think that's why it's become more guard than forward-oriented. Pull-up jumper here. No. Boy, what a rebound by Bond. What a beast.
That's their single hardest matchup. I mean, look at that frame for Jalen Bond. And you like Brima, you know, he's getting better every single day. Kenton Facey getting better every single day. But physically, look at the shoulders, the arms. UConn does not have a great matchup for Jalen Bond.
This is the tough aspect.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe these numbers. He is 13 of 45 from the free throw line. I'm not talking about 30-footers. These are free throws. He's shooting 29% from the line. Ouch.
Okay, so when I hear those numbers, the first thing I do is I look at technique. Is the guy doing the same thing every single time? What's the rotation? What's his shooting motion? You examine all those things. It doesn't look that abysmal.
I think a lot of the times that I've seen him, he's ended up with the ball in the palm of his hand instead of out. Here comes Cummings on the breakaway. Samuel is back, commits the foul, and he'll have a chance for a three-point play.
Well, we've seen this on multiple occasions. Will Cummings leads this league in steals per game. He actually tips it loose, realizes his teammate has a chance, so sprints up the court. Nicely done. DeCozy does a terrific job finding him, and Samuel again compounds a UConn mistake. Turnover leading to transition.
It's the 8th team foul against the Huskies, and Cummings will go to the free throw line. They had a stretch earlier this year of 3 losses, and one of the big reasons for that is Cummings was hurt.
Correct, yeah. And that's part of the equation, too. You know, we sit here and try to figure out the metrics. One of the things the committee looks at is, what was your record if you had key guys out?
And if your point guard's out, there's nothing more key than that. We're tied at 20 with 9:45 to go first half. Mike Patrick, Doris Burke, glad you could join us from Philadelphia in a big game in this conference. Boatwright fouled on the way in. Going to be on DeCozy. No, they're going to give it to Cummings. That'll be 2 on Will Cummings. Devin Coleman comes in for Temple, and Cummings is going to have to come out of the ballgame with those 2 personals with still a lot of time to go in the half.
You've got a small lineup on the floor if you're Temple.
Boatwright loves that step back move. Gets free for the 3. He is just so much fun to watch.
He is a blast. The guy gets separation with his speed, with his toughness, and with his feel.
DeCozy down the lane, draws a foul. That's going to be on Hamilton. 2 on Hamilton.
If you're Ryan Boatwright's size and you've got a larger defender on you, you've got to find ways, and he's had to do this his whole life.
Yep.
Figure out how to create shot opportunities. He has mastered it.
I remember one smaller player saying, hey, I've always been small. I know how to do this.
He had a tough senior night. Obviously misses a chance at the buzzer to beat Memphis. But I like his perseverance. You know, there are times in his past where his body language wasn't great, when there was frustration that was visible.
You're right.
That has an impact on the guys around you. He has matured so much over his time in a Connecticut uniform.
DeCozy, only a 66% free throw shooter, makes both of those. Huskies by 1 as we approach the 9-minute mark. Purvis, who has been inconsistent, had one of his best games against SMU when they knocked them off. He made one big shot after another. Momentum creators and momentum breakers as well.
Yeah, he's a streaky scorer. We sometimes talk about streaky shooters. That's just a streaky scorer. Sometimes he's up, and when he is up, this is a different UConn team, and when he is absent, it really hurts their ability to win games.
Against SMU, both he and Hamilton were hitting big shots, and Boatwright was playing his normal terrific game. There's DeCozy. So you've got Cummings, Morgan, and DeCozy, all with a chance to hit big 3-point shots from the outside, which I think makes them a very dangerous tournament team.
I agree, Mike. I agree. You've got to contend with all 3 guys.
Boatwright fouled before the shot. And it's on Josh Brown.
It is not as though you can step off any one of those Temple guards.
No.
Because all three guys can hurt you on the offensive end of the floor. And when they go small and put Bond at the 5 and surround him with 4 scorers, they are really difficult to deal with.
Because Fran Dunphy knows what it takes to build a tournament team. This is his 7th season out of 9 with at least 20 wins. When he was at Penn, they were a fixture in the NCAA. Last year, they just got so many guys hurt. They ran out of people. He had no chance, but this guy is the definition of Philly basketball.
LaSalle graduate 1970.
Boy, he was a star.
At Philly through and through.
Boatwright pulls up. Brown was waiting for him, but he wasn't close enough. Of course, what is close enough to Boatwright? You're 28 feet? Devin Coleman wears number 34 for Temple. He's in the game. And Obi Aneshionia is in the game. He wears 0. Pull up by DeCozy. Aneshionia over the back. That's his first. Got a timeout. 7:11 to go, first half. Yes.
You know, you remember a Big 5 team like Temple is. St. Joe's finished their regular season under Phil Martelli undefeated when they had Jameer Nelson. Of course, they did not go on to win the national championship. And I thought there was an interesting quote from John Calipari recently. And, you know, love your take. He said to his guys, he said, we're not turning it over enough. Because you can't be afraid to miss shots or make a mistake. So I think he's trying to keep his guys. You wonder in a possession game, do they get tight? Does the weight of being undefeated play on you?
I don't know that I ever heard a coach say that.
Right.
It's an interesting point, the reason.
And I think he's trying to make sure his guys are in the right mindset. Don't be afraid to miss shots. Don't feel the weight of the undefeated season.
That's fascinating. Coaches have to look at things differently to be successful, don't they?
No question.
And Eshionia misses from outside. Coleman, what a move! Devin Coleman scoops with the left hand and knocks it down.
It's another attribute that you like about this team, and now they come with pressure off a made shot. They have some support off the bench. You know, Aneshionia is a terrific athlete. He can just come in, fly around, change the tempo of the game. Coleman can come make shots, give you a little boost offensively. It can't just be 5 guys.
Which is what they didn't have in that down year a season ago. Samuel with a walk.
The Temple taking advantage of their 6th offensive rebound of the half, just beating UConn to the spot. And an easy opportunity inside for Coleman as he navigates. I like Aneshionia, I really do.
Obviously moves much better than you would think just from his size. Very athletic. Dingle in for the first time. There's Aneshionia. He kicks it back outside. 12 on the shot clock for Cummings.
Aneshionia, freshman forward from Springfield, Virginia. He's going to get better and better.
That ball's thrown away, and Purvis ahead of the pack. Cummings trying to hustle it back, gets it to Dingle. He'll try a 3. One and done. Purvis with the rebound to Boatwright. Samuel flying and missed the shot. Purvis with a miss. Samuel with a tip. Ryman, excuse me, with a miss, and the tip is good.
That forces Temple to call a timeout. And boy, they've gone in spurts, UConn. They're making plays off their defense, turning it into offense.
32-26, 4:57 and counting. First half.
UConn shooting 55% on the half, so when they haven't turned it over, they've been able to make shots at a high rate.
DeCozy, nice move, but he couldn't get open. Cummings, a little hesitation, gets it back on the baseline, but Brime is there. The last guy you want to try to shoot over. He drives inside him and gets the layup. Nice move by Cummings, wasn't it?
Just so smart, Mike. You know, he recognizes Brime is on him, so he sizes up the big man. He wants to get the Brime's feet moving. He attacks him on the baseline. That's just perfectly done.
And Brima, with his size, in no man's land at 20 feet away from the bucket. Calhoun threw it away. And then a foul as Brima was trying to get the loose ball, got there late, and Amita Brima picks up his second personal. He has turned into such a defensive weapon. 7 blocked shots the other night, and he was everywhere.
And the line is number 2, Will Cummings, shooting 2.
Coming up on NBA Sunday Showcase, it's the Bulls against the Spurs, then the Clippers against the Warriors. Preceded by NBA Countdown. 11 points on the afternoon so far for Will Cummings. He's out of Jacksonville, Florida. Always been a great on-ball defender and has become a better and better point guard as his career has ticked along.
No question about it. He leads the American at steals per game.
And he knows how to get to the free throw line. That coming into this game, 143 free throws made this year. 143.
Takes over 6 free throws a game. To me, I mean, that's a quality point guard and a quality offensive player. You know, one, you're going to have the ball late. So if it's a possession game, you're going to get there because you're the point guard. You're going to have it. They're going to foul you. At the same time, he's so creative at the rim. He could play through contact.
Temple as a team has hit 10 out of 13 from the stripe in this first half. Cut the lead back to 2. Boatwright calling out what he wants with 12 on the shot clock. What he wants is to take his own shot. Instead, he passed to Calhoun, and Calhoun traveled. 7th turnover for the Huskies in the first half.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2000.
Parents, will they be too emotional to get out of the skates slowly?
Right.
Does it take him some time to find his legs? This is one tough cookie. I have enjoyed watching him play. He's on the Bob Cousy list to start the season for point guards. But my favorite thing about Will Cummings is when the game is a possession game late, he doesn't blink. He doesn't shy away from the moment. You have to be willing to embrace it, sometimes miss those shots, and he's a guy willing to do that.
Great point. You need somebody, usually more than one, who wants the ball in crunch time.
Because you can hide if you want to, boy. You can avoid that ball.
7 to shoot. Cummings against Boatwright. Nice step back move. Then he missed the shot. Used Boatwright's own move against him. That's almost impossible to defend if you do it right.
That's correct. It gets you so much separation. You're going to get a shot that you can actually see the top of the rim with.
Boatwright gets around the screen, but picked up on the switch. Now he's got Bond on him. Bond doing a pretty good job, man on man. How about that for defense? Back out to Boatwright. Bond is still on. Now Jalen says, hey, look, I did it once. I'm getting back inside.
I got to be honest with you, 6'8", 240 pounds, getting down the stance. That reminded me of Draymond Green at Michigan State. Right? You can guard multiple positions. That will make the next level keep an eye on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is a monster of a rebounder. And he steps out in front of Boatwright and picks that one off. Holy cow. 8 turnovers for UConn in the first half. And how about Jalen Bond? Now he has it on the offensive end. Gives it off to his teammate Josh Brown. And Brown has it knocked out of bounds and draws the foul.
Watch Jalen Bond. But, you know, Boatwright's got all the quickness in the world. So for a guy 6'8", 240 pounds to be able to stay between he and the basket, still contested, and then on the next play, look at that. He peeked back, right? He peeked back, anticipating where Ryan Boatwright was making the cut. That kind of defense from a guy that size, the NBA would love.
It's a very athletic move to be able to defend somebody who is that much quicker than you are. And he did it 2 different times.
I'm not sure which one I'm more impressed with, Mike. You know, the individual defense against Ryan Boatwright, or his ability to peek back and anticipate the next play.
6-0 run for the Owls, and they have tied it at 32.
It's been an enjoyable game.
It has. These are 2 teams I don't think anybody would want to play in the NCAA in the first couple of rounds. You get guard play the way they do, and teams that play as hard as these clubs do, then that can be an easy out. Boatwright.
Wow. Come on now.
And the referee runs by and says, hey, hit me on the wrist.
How good is that?
Boatwright has 19. He and Cummings are putting on a show. DeCozy guarded by Purvis. Got him up in the air. Missed the shot, no call. Crowd thought that was a foul. Looked like a good no call from this angle. Temple hoping to increase his resume with a win here. It would take them to 499 wins in a career for Fran Dunphy, but he doesn't care about that. He's more concerned about what it does for their status for the NCAA tournament.
At the last bracket, they were amongst the last 4 in. You are at home, so you absolutely have control of your destiny, at least for today. You do not want to step away from a home game with a loss when you're that close to the bubble.
Brown committed that last foul, his second. And just as a reminder, Temple beat UConn at the XL Center this year, where the tournament's going to be. And that was a huge win for Temple, and obviously a big loss for the Huskies.
Went overtime, and for long stretches, UConn played without Ryan Boatwright, who had a thigh bruise, which kept him out of action.
Nolan gives it to Boatwright, but a 6-second differential with the game clock and shot clock. Boatwright fouled as he tried to get the shot up.
The crowd didn't like it. It looked to me like he did get raked across the wrist, but we'll be able to get the second look, which the officials never get.
DeCozy called for the foul, and Boatwright will go to the line where he's nearly automatic.
Gets the first. Let's see if in fact he did. As you see, Will Cummings coming back in. Little screen and roll. Facey gives him the look. What'd you think, Mike? He was raked across that left wrist?
I thought he got fouled in the initial part of the drive, and then they caught his wrist. I thought that was pretty obvious at the baseline. But I'm with you, Doris. I think this is the toughest job in the world to be a basketball official.
It's certainly amongst the most thankless jobs in the world. Maybe only surpassed by the SIDs, who work diligently and get 0 credit.
21 points already from Boatwright. Averages 17.6. Now they back off for Cummings. Shot clock is off.
So they come with a high ball screen, or do things stay flat? DeCozy's too near him. Yeah, here comes the screen.
Backs up behind Bond. 3 to shoot. Just got it over Nolan, and it's short. Nice defense by UConn in that last possession. 37-32, a half for the point guards. Boatwright ends up with 21. Cummings with 12. And UConn with a 5-point lead at the half, 37-32. Now we'll send you to Ed Dan Burke and Andy Katz with Land Rover half the other night when they lost to Memphis.
Very uncharacteristic first 20 minutes of defense from Temple. This is a team that's third in the American, hold opponents to 39% shooting. The Huskies were 54%. Now, a lot of that was the brilliance of Boatwright, but they need to tighten up the screws defensively here in the second half.
DeCozy looks inside, goes baseline to Morgan, who had a great start but hasn't done much since about the 15-minute mark offensively. Loose ball recovered by DeCozy. Nice drive, almost a bucket, but Aneshionia will draw the foul as he starts the second half.
That's his second, team first.
Nolan commits the personal foul, his second. If UConn wins today and Memphis lost, they would get into that bye situation in the first round and not have to play that first game. And if you have to win the tournament, not playing that first game is huge. Every other scenario, they end up as a 6 seed and do have to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday if they have a chance to win.
It has not proven an impossibility to win 4 straight days at a tournament, but the physical toll exacted is significant. It's rare, and I wouldn't want to have to put myself in that position. On the Temple side, Cincinnati wins all tiebreakers. So you've got to win today for multiple reasons. Your NCAA tournament life is still precarious.
Well, they do a great job setting screens for Boatwright as he runs the baseline. Mrs. Hamilton tosses up an air ball. DeCozy back the other way in a 4-point game. Cummings guarded by the bigger Purvis. DeCozy passed up a 15-footer. Cummings goes baseline reverse. Will Cummings with 14 points.
That's got to be frustrating. For Kevin Ollie, he's preaching at the official for a foul call, but he is hot at his guys. He is in Brima's face right now because you cannot allow a guy to come uncontested. Look at that. How does your best shot? I would have made that kid hit the deck. He would have paid a price to come at me if I'm Amita Brima. No excuse.
Well, a 7-footer's got to have the mindset that, hey, little fellow, you come in here, it's not going to be pleasant.
He's been terrific. Listen, he's a mistake eraser. But Kevin Ollie made 13 years in the NBA because he outworked every darn person he came across.
Absolutely right. Loose ball, Boatwright ends up great hustle and gets it in the backcourt.
No reset on the shot clock.
Good job by Morgan. Didn't let him get it back. Shot clock at 5. Boatwright's got to hustle. Got it to Hamilton. In and out. Nolan offensive rebound, and he's fouled. It's a frustrating sequence there for Temple. They played really good defense, knocked the ball away twice. And then as the shot clock expires, they give up an offensive rebound and commit a foul.
You know what, Mike? If one guy or two guys is given multiple efforts, the other 3 guys on defense better give me the exact same multiple efforts. There's got to be a desperation when there's a 50-50 ball.
Couldn't agree with you more. Hamilton guarded by DeCozy. Hasn't been looking for a shot lately. Purvis goes baseline and draws the foul. Looked like it was Bond again. And that'll be 2 on Jalen Bond, the transfer from Texas.
At the line is number 44, Rodney Curtis.
You wonder, because of Memphis and its level of physicality, as you see the contrast and what he did versus SMU, where he attacked the rim consecutively, consistently, made threes, attacks the rim here. Bond is going to make sure he knows that if he comes back in there again, that's the kind of treatment. Now let's see what Purvis does moving forward. Do you shy away or do you keep coming? Because I wouldn't want to hit that body on multiple occasions.
Hits his first 2 free throws of the ball game. The lead back to 4 for UConn. Cummings and Boatwright. What a matchup. Aneshionia maybe out of his range. There is the follow by DeCozy.
I like the way DeCozy plays, the pace which he plays. There's a smoothness about him.
And he almost had the steal for a breakaway. Hamilton off of it will fire a 3. Bond with a rebound. Cummings kicks it ahead. The 3 no good. Aneshionia offensive rebound. They'll reset for Morgan, and Morgan will fire. Jesse Morgan, who is a 34% long-range shooter, buries another one. And Temple has surged to a 1-point lead. Too strong on the 3. Nolan gets the offensive rebound that hits the floor. And actually, nobody was going after it.
The students section here at Temple had a classic reaction when they gave up yet another long offensive board.
Hamilton against a double team will draw the foul.
And that's the problem, right? You give up multiple offensive rebounds and your teammates get frustrated. This is the little step back 3 that gets them the advantage.
2 fouls on Aneshionia. 3rd team foul here in the second half against the Owls. Hamilton, the 4-time Rookie of the Week in this conference.
Got a great chance to be Rookie of the Year. I'll say this. This young man, after he mentioned the good game that was played December 31st between these two teams,
right.
He had an opportunity. They were down 2. He got fouled on a 3-pointer, missed the first 2 free throws. From that point forward, he's paid a price in practice, in off time, between classes, making sure he's doing his due diligence, getting his repetitions. He's been much better at the free throw line.
And that's something players have to do. You see somebody who was a lousy free throw shooter and they don't get better during the season. That's on them.
No question. Larry Bird used to say, when the game's on the line, you know whether you put in the work.
Cummings, great drive, and then catches one in the face on the way in. Foul was on Nolan. 15:59 to go in a 1-point ball game.
All he does is win, win, win. Was made with Bill Self in mind. The guy's success has been extraordinary. In a league that competitive, to be that consistently great and answer the bell every year, I don't think he gets talked about enough. And I absolutely love that Virginia team. They are 7-0 without Justin Anderson. They'll play without him today against Louisville. 7 times Virginia has won when they have trailed at the half. Their opponents are shooting 38% and get under 6 points in transition. I don't care what you said. Some people say I don't like watching Virginia play. I love watching Virginia play.
So do I, and I love watching Tony Bennett coach. We are tied at 41 with 15:35 to go in the ballgame. Boatwright slashes into the lane, then kicks it back. Purvis wide open for 3, no. DeCozy, good guard rebounder. Then he slashes to the bucket and draws the foul on the way in from Calhoun. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy at 4, already the Big 12 winner. Perry Ellis and the number 9 Jayhawks square off against Buddy Hield and the number 15 Sooners. Kansas, Oklahoma at 4 today on ESPN. Part of the Journey to the Tourney presented by Sonic. And one of Temple's huge wins this year was over Kansas, and they didn't just beat them, they stomped them.
Wow. I mean, took control from the outset. I kept watching that game, anticipated Kansas was going to make a run, and Temple would have none of it.
Boatwright guarded by Morgan. UConn 0 for 5 here in the second half against the defense. Boatwright pressured and throws it away. Temple on the fast break. The lay-in by DeCozy.
What did I say, Mike? We came out of this half. I said Temple had a very uncharacteristic first 20 minutes defensively. They needed to tighten the screws. They're playing with better energy, and I've enjoyed this student section on this end of the floor. They have been absolutely dynamite.
The defense surprised Boatwright on that last possession. Came quickly with a double team. Calhoun, tough pull-up jump shot. Boatwright's there for the free ball. Shot clock does not recycle because the ball did not hit the rim. Purvis, tough fadeaway jump shot. No, DeCozy with another rebound.
How about the individual defensive Cummings? I mean, that just is as good as you can do it.
The more good defense results in good plays, the easier it is to get kids to play defense. Anashionia looks for Bond, then comes back outside. 10 on the clock. Cummings against Purvis. Couldn't get the shot. DeCozy has to force it.
It's going to be a push on the weak side of the floor from Kenton Facey, and that's all trying to deal with the big boy, 6'8", 240 pounds. Mr. Facey, you better put on some weight before you contend with Jalen Bond.
Well, at 240, that's muscle, too. That kid's put together. Facey commits his third. Quick inbound out of the corner, the three. No good by Brown, but it still turns out well with a foul on the rebound try.
And Fran Dunphy clearly, that's number 4. Fran Dunphy clearly likes having Echionia and Bond with the 3 guards around those men. This is a lineup he has played consistently here in the second half. And Facey's having a very difficult time with Bond. Bryma would have equally a difficult time.
Wait a second. Bond just hit a free throw. Didn't even touch the rim. Way to go, Jalen. Made them both. That's got to be a boost in his confidence. And for Temple, a 13-4 run to take a 4-point lead.
And it's all started on this end of the floor.
Sure has.
They got down to business on the defensive end.
They have played hard. Brown now guarding Boatwright. Good hedge by Bond. Here comes the double team. UConn can't take advantage. Samuel gives it up to Boatwright, and Boatwright dribbled it off his foot out of bounds. The 10th turnover for UConn. Now, Boatwright complaining about the call, but it was pretty clear.
No question. This is a basketball city. What's problematic right now for Boatwright and the guards on UConn is because of this lineup, they can switch virtually everything defensively. Get down in the stance, make all the exchanges necessary, and plug all the gaps.
$12:49 to go in this game. Cummings trying to get away from the double team. Nice dump down to Aneshionia, and he'll draw the foul. So they go with the double team, and he found the open man.
Yeah, you just if you're a good point guard, if you're a confident point guard, and you're comfortable with your handle, and you're comfortable with your decision making, I'll be honest with you, I like getting double teamed. I knew I could get myself to places on the floor against a double team. I'm not going to panic. You're putting yourself at a deficit unless your trap is really good. And a guy like Will Cummings, he's not going to let you speed him up. He's not going to be intimidated by a trap.
Aneshionia, 6'9", 220 out of Springfield, Virginia. About 3 miles away from where I live, right down the road. And Nolan has to sit with 4 fouls. This kid's going to be a fixture for this school.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, I can't wait to see Aneshionia a year from now. I really can't.
Got a nice touch. He's obviously very athletic. And look at the numbers.
Yeah, the defense has been so good for Temple to start this half.
UConn has not made a field goal in 7.5 minutes. They are 0 for 7 from the floor. And you've got to give all the credit in the world to Temple on that. Boy, they come with a double team in a heartbeat. Was that touched? Yes, it was. Crowd didn't think so, but the officials were right there. And there's going to be a foul as Purvis drives. 9 minutes and 10 seconds is the drought for UConn going back to the first half.
Boy, a big-time drive. Look at this defense again, though. We saw Bond do this against a point guard in the first half. This time against Daniel Hamilton, the outstanding freshman. And Jalen Bond is showing you some things defensively today.
And Eschionia just picked up his third. And a much-needed point for UConn and Purvis. Dingle comes back in.
We got our answer, though. Would Purvis continue to go to the rack? The answer in that instance is yes.
Purvis knocks both of them down.
UConn in the zone.
Today, here's the way we would line up. SMU would have the #1 seed and a first-round bye. Temple, Memphis, Tulsa, and Cincinnati would be the other byes. UConn would be forced to play in the first round. Now, they have to win today and hope Memphis loses to change that. But right now, the advantage is to the Owls here on their home court. Hamilton leans in baseline. There's a foul on the drive.
You know what I like about that play call off the timeout? You know, Kevin Ollie knows that Daniel Hamilton is probably not feeling great about himself. He came out of that timeout 1 for 9. So if you want to win this game, you're going to need all your parts, right? So you can say, let's get our freshman isolated. Let's clear one side of the floor. Let's let him work on his individual one-on-one abilities. And he gets him to the free throw line. Now, he misses that, but I like that play call, Mike. I like that he's thinking ahead, Kevin Ollie.
I agree. And that's his first miss today. It was 3 for 3 at the line. Temple, or UConn as a team, was 12 of 12. Knocks down the second one, though.
Let's see moving forward, you know, does that help Hamilton? Does that get him started? Your coach just showed great confidence in you.
So instead of going away from someone who's struggling, you try to go to him to get him out of it. Cummings matched up with Boatwright. They isolate him on the right side of the court. Everybody else mid-court or to the left. Couldn't find the opening. And Eschionia 12-footer short. Boatwright cut off the baseline. Ten minutes to go from Philadelphia. Bad pass. Cummings ahead of the pack. Hamilton back with him. He blocked the shot. There's the foul. Brima blocked that. The third foul. And they got 3 shots at it, 2 blocks, and then a foul.
Great effort from both sides.
Yes, it was.
Right, guys all running the floor hard. Nobody giving up on the play. Samuel ends up getting tripped up, doesn't get a whistle. Transition, the LeBron-like block from behind. Brima twice on the pipes. But Eschionia running the floor hard gets rewarded with a couple of free throws.
I got to give Eschionia as much credit or more than anybody because the play is so far ahead of him. The normal reaction is, well, I'll wait because this play is going to be over in a second. There's no sense to go all the way down there. And he just kept hustling.
Got to love it. And look at what he's done from the free throw line. Hasn't made a shot. Everything he's done has come from here. Make it 5 of 6.
He's got the touch. Bolt right now guarded by Brown as they try to switch players on and off. Purvis got himself open with a little shoulder bump. Room to shoot, and he took advantage of it.
This team, look at it. I mean, they're in the game, and no surprise, Purvis is contributing at a high level.
And he has to for them to win. So does Hamilton. You know you're going to get it from Boatwright almost every night. Brown, good hedge by Boatwright, cut him off so he couldn't go down the lane. Good screen for Cummings. Got it.
Double-figure scoring, and now 6 out of the last 7 games for Mr. Cummings.
Cummings only 3 points from his career high. He has 19.
How about that big-time shot? What an entertaining ball game. And Mr. Boatwright, boy, 7 for 10. Can't be much more efficient than that.
3-point game. We approach 8.5 minutes. Kick out to Cummings from Morgan. Oh, there's Brima. That's what he did all night long Thursday night.
Now, you can't shy away just because he sent this into like the 5th row. That is outstanding job coming over in defensive help.
4th in the country in block shots is Amita Brima.
And hasn't even really figured out the game yet.
Look out when he does. Cummings, nice spin. Brima avoided goaltending, but Inishionia is right there. His first field goal, he has 7 points. Brima, not much of an offensive player yet at this point in his career. Draws the foul on Inishionia. That's his 4th.
With a shot blocker around. As he comes over, Inishionia steps on in. Somebody's got to step and help the helper. Brima comes over, and this Dayton, Tulsa, and Cincinnati on the other side. Temple listed right now as a 12 seed, but they're the last 4 in. Fran Dunphy's team has got to walk out of here with a win. I mean, I just do not. You don't want to leave anything in doubt. Your opportunity is win against a team in your conference at home on senior day so that you have another win on your resume.
Brima hits his first free throw opportunity of the day, makes it 2 for 2. Bob Knight told me 2 weeks ago, didn't care where we were seated, didn't care where we went. I told my kids we're in the tournament, let's go get them.
I love it. I love that. You know, if you're lucky, you think about college basketball, the most you get is 4, and not everybody stays 4, as we've learned the hard way over the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
So those opportunities are precious.
What a huge shot by Morgan. 12 times this year, now make it 13 times. He's hit 3 or more 3-point shots. Those are huge. He has 14 points on the afternoon. He and Cummings have led the scoring for the Owls. Boatwright. Purvis for 3. Brown with a rebound to Cummings. 2 on 4, and they'll wait for help. DeCozy's hit some big shots, too. Bond, 6 to shoot. Moving in on Brima, rolled it over the rim. Brima altered that shot even though he didn't block it. Nice pass by Hamilton.
Good job being opportunistic. When you've had to execute in a half court, it has not been pretty if you're UConn. They've had their most success in early offense secondary transition.
Terrence Samuel now has 4 points. We've got 6:19 to go in the game. The lead's been cut to 4. You know, we've talked about UConn being on the outside looking in as far as the NCAA. I find it hard.
Then they lose their first game in the conference tournament, and with a very respectable RPI, SMU was left out of the tournament. That's why, if you're Temple, you have got to finish the deal, and they'll do it facing a UConn zone of dispossession.
Approaching 6 minutes. Cummings. Cozy tried to work around a screen, gets it back to Bond. Cummings. Look at Boatwright. Holy cow. Just skied the middle of all the big guys. Hamilton. And out to Temple. Oh, Boatwright showed you some serious hops. That's why he came into this game averaging 4.2 rebounds, 4 assists, 17.7 points a game. He's just a wonderful athlete.
No question.
So only scored 2 in the second half after a monster first half. Temple being very patient. And they can afford to be with a two-basket lead. Brown off of UConn with 7 on the shot clock.
Now, last time they got to this place, they let a play develop to get Morgan and Bond on one side of the floor. Now you've got to be really efficient in your under-out-of-bounds play.
Screen for Cummings, drives into Brima, and right there is the big guy, Jalen Bond. As Brima went for the block, Bond was open under the bucket, took advantage of it. Purvis. Oh, a lot of contact. That's going to be a foul on Cummings, and Purvis really hit the deck. That's 3 on Will Cummings. He was trying to get out of the way, it appeared.
I thought he had a chance to take a charge.
I think he decided he couldn't and was trying to vacate the area. Let's take a look.
Yep, you're right. It's exactly right.
Had pretty good position, but Purvis was getting away from him, so he wanted to get out of there and instead created the really solid contact.
Yeah, I think he has a feel for where he is, and I think he knew he was right by that restricted area.
Yeah.
But you wonder, because this is a young man that has battled this wrist a little bit this year. There was a time earlier in the year where he was wearing tape.
They're checking on him right now, and he was holding that wrist, still is.
Remember, because he got out of the gates, he was playing great early, hurts his wrist. He goes through a lull because it was bothering him.
And he is in obvious distress. So they're going to substitute Hamilton to shoot the free throws because Purvis is hurt. He's 4 out of 5 from the line today.
See, it's the same wrist that he wears that tape on that he hurt earlier this year, and you can see this kid is in excruciating pain.
And unfortunately, that's the wrist you handle the ball with. That's the wrist you shoot with. 1 out of 2 from the line, and 7 points for Hamilton.
Well, he has been fearless in attacking the rim. He's been relentless.
Sure has. And they're going to need him if they're going to do anything. They're going to make that run in the tournament. He'll have to be able to play and play well. Under 5 minutes to go, so Temple will try to burn some time off the clock on every possession. DeCozy into the lane, gets caught up there. 10 to shoot. Cummings to DeCozy. Can't get away from Hamilton. Now fade away, and Brima's there. Came out a long way to block that shot. Great pass to Samuel. Then Samuel has it knocked away, and Temple has the ball. Good choice by Brown to bring it back out as Boatwright went down hard and gets up. He's holding his left leg. And there's a huge 3 from Morgan. And Boatwright is limping. This could spell disaster for UConn. 17 for Morgan.
I don't know why.
Good news. So hopefully for the Huskies, all is well on that front. Particularly happy to see Purvis out there because he looked like he was really in pain when he was on the bench.
UConn has got to get a good shot every trip down. They've got 12 turnovers. Temple's turned those into 22 points. You got to be on point. You got to get into your third and fourth option here with your offense.
They've used 3 different guys defensively against Boatwright. They have done a great job on it. And this foul is going to be on Bond, much to the distress of this crowd. The 4th foul on Bond. Key inside players in foul trouble with 3:34 left. Here at 63-55, Doris Burke takes us inside the play.
Well, you've got a terrific freshman in Daniel Hamilton, but I want you to watch what happens with him. The ball moves here, and this young guy reacts. Watch the ball move from here to here, and it takes Daniel Hamilton far too long to react. He didn't move on the first pass. Your feet and your defensive position has got to move with the ball. Kevin Ollie has talked about that young man being engaged for the full 38 minutes or whatever he's playing. That, to me, is a young mistake.
Brima hits the free throw. A telling stat here in the second half. Temple has taken 26 shots from the floor. UConn only 14.
Wow.
And threes, UConn is 0 for 6. Better believe they're going to need to hit a couple down the stretch here to have a chance to win this game.
It's the side of the ball that's been problematic for them all year. Inconsistent on the offensive end, and frankly, inconsistent game to game, in game.
DeCozy. Boatwright didn't close strong enough. And DeCozy buries it. That's a huge shot, and all of a sudden it's 10 points. DeCozy has a dozen.
Did you like the non-whistle? I did.
Yes. It's a very good officiating crew with Ray Tilly, Steve Olson, and Brent Hampton.
You've got a guy who's attacking the rim with great ferocity. I don't know if he was in great control. Some contact, but I didn't think enough to blow the whistle.
Temple knows the clock is their friend right now.
I think this goes to your point, Mike, about why, if they make the NCAA tournament, you like them. They've got multiple guards.
Yes. 3-point shooters who can do just that. And how about a forward, Aneshionia, who shows he's got that mid-range game. While we got a timeout, let's send you back to Adnan Burke. Adnan.
All right, Mike, thank you very much.
I just like how Temple plays. They're fundamentally sound. I think if you come to Temple and they've signed 2 quality players, he's going to ask you to guard and play at a high level on the defensive end. He's also going to give you opportunities to showcase your skills on the offensive end.
Temple on a 10-2 run to take a commanding lead. And Purvis loses it out of bounds. 14 turnovers. And really, 14 turnovers is not awful, but compared with Temple, Temple hasn't turned the ball over at all, only 3 times.
Yeah, number 1, in fact, one of the better teams in the country, Temple, with assist to turnover and with limited number of turnovers.
Tomorrow on SportsCenter, you're going to love this. A Cape Crusader emerged in Seattle. His name was Phoenix Jones. Hear the story behind Ben Fedor, an MMA fighter turned crime fighter. SC Featured presents Phoenix Rising, premiering Sunday 11 a.m. on SportsCenter. Cummings at the line. He's hit 7 out of 9 today. They get 8 out of 10. Just about on his season's average of 77.7% coming in.
Not a bad season. Top 10 in the American in points, assists, free throw percentage, 5th in minutes per game, 1st in steals, 59 steals overall. I mean, is that a senior performance or what?
Absolutely. And he is 1 point off his season record 22-point scoring game today. Boatwright knows they need those threes, gives it up to Hamilton. Hamilton got his own miss, back blocked by DeCozy, and out of bounds to Temple. The Owls continue to make the plays they have to down the stretch, and UConn is coming up short. In this half, the Huskies have hit 4 out of 16 shots from the floor. That's not going to beat anybody.
No, and Mike, this is playing very similar to Temple's last game against East Carolina, where first half was, similar. I didn't think their defense was as good. Second half, it makes all the difference in the world.
Sure. Every possession now, they can just afford to hold the ball. DeCozy into the lane, fouled from behind. So Hamilton commits the foul with 7 on the shot clock. And these are cardinal sins as well. Once it gets that low, you just got to let the guy do what he's going to do.
He still has young moments. And you would anticipate that. There's so much on the horizon for Daniel Hamilton.
DeCozy has been up and down. Really, in his last 6 games, he only had 2 double-digit games coming into this. And when you see him on a good day, you wonder why he doesn't get 15 a night.
No, it's a great point. Great point.
Get that nice stroke. 16-point lead, only 1:39 to go. So UConn is going to finish 17-13, barring a miracle finish here, and 10-8 in the conference. And really, at this point, they're going to have to win the conference tournament next week. At least they'll have the home court advantage for it.
And in the back of your head, and what Kevin Ollie's going to preach over the next several days of preparation is, we've beaten the best teams at the XL Center.
Yes.
We beat SMU and Tulsa in Hartford.
They will have to win 4 games in 4 days, however. The loss in this game means they cannot get the bye in the first round of the tournament. And this will be win 499 in the exceptional career.
So you wonder about Temple in the NCAA tournament environment. One thing in the NCAA, if you're a good defensive team, you give up 1 contested shot and you finish it with a defensive backboard. You're a low turnover team, as they are.
Yes.
If you do those things and contest every shot, then you're going to be in most games. The games are going to slow down. You value possessions. You're going to have a chance.
Cummings with a runner. A season-high 23. And Doris, what you just said is what makes them dangerous.
This would be a sleeper pick for me in the NCAA tournament as to a first-round upset. Because as Joe says, 12th seed right now.
Boatwright, there's no quitting him. That's only 4 points for him in the second half, however.
And Kevin Ollie calls a timeout, gets Samuel in, so it's one of those you just keep playing.
Boatwright goes to the bench, just shaking his head. Kevin Ollie has him out under the last minute. No sense to have him in there and take a chance on hurting his leg that he appeared to be shaken up with before. And Hamilton reaches out and makes contact. Wasn't much there. Especially with 28 seconds to go in a 14-point game.
They get free tacos at 75 points. So everybody stand it. Does that include the announcers?
No.
There's a lot of pressure on this shot right here. You better make this.
I don't know if DeCozy realizes it, but the pressure is on. Got to start chanting tacos. Chow down, folks.
I thought that might get more of a reaction from the Student Center.
Calhoun against the double team, kicks it out for the three from Purvis. Good to see that Purvis is shooting it well after that hand injury. Calhoun gets a tie-up with 8.3 seconds to go. Possession arrow will give it back to UConn. 17 points for Purvis.
You a little surprised that they're not getting Will Cummings and the seniors out?
Yes. Calhoun. And Temple closes very strong. Great second half for the Owls. And they win it 75-63. UConn locked into the 6th seed. Temple in the upper half. Our final score is 75-63. Coming up, more hoops, Kansas State and Texas. But first to the studio and add Dan Burke.